Hello guys, welcome back. Let's go to read our data. These two line of code reading our data. After we importing our library, we need to reading our data. Okay, let's paste it. We create a data frame called data and read the data from the CSV file that we have. You know how to work with them. We do 2 projects on how reading data, and you are very familiar with pd.read CSV. And then we create a data frame by pd.dataframe, data columns date, and this. Why we are doing this? Okay, let's see why. We print another line. We create another cell. Then let's see what our data have. It's our data. And now let's see what our data frame has. They are pretty the same. What is the difference? You can say it or not. It's because when you go and read scikit-learn library, the format of data that linear regression want is this format. We in the end try to use this data, not this data format, to say what is the difference. But for now, think of it just like that. Okay, in machine learning we have lots of steps to create our machine learning program, but one of the important steps after importing data is making data beautiful, making data clean, or make it work better. How? What I'm going to say is that you have a raw data and you must clean it and make it 2 options. What option? You want to define the X and the Y. Why it's important to know X and Y? Because the type of data that our program wants is X and Y. And one of the things is most important in our machine learning data is that to use a test data and learning data. We must divide these 2 data. Why? Let me give you an example. If you give all the data at once to your program, it's going to do its best on these data. And anytime you gave it new data, it's going to prefer badly. Why? Because it's overlearned. It's learned more than overtrained. It's overtrained because it's trained by a specific data. And if you do this by dividing the test data and the learning data, every time you test it by the test data that your program didn't see before, it's going to be predicted them well. That means you are going to predict a good model. Don't worry if you don't understand what I say. Let's create our first model, and then we are going to have a huge conversation about the theories. Okay, we just now divide our data to X and Y. Data X and data Y. These are the 2 columns of our data. Let's print them and see. This is the X and this is the Y. Don't forget, your X and Y are must to have the same length. Let me show you how. Len data Y. Oh, sorry, I write it wrong. What I do, I don't know. Len data Y. It 9069 to len data Y. They are all the same. Okay, in this lesson after that we are going to scattering the data. Why we scatter the data? Because to see how our data looks. Every time we are doing our machine learning or neural network, we don't know how to use Excel, and we don't have an Excel file. And sometimes our data is live. Because of that, we need to learn how to scatter the data in our Python file. As you can see, it's very similar to what we see in our Excel. What this command do? We import the matplotlib.pyplot and use the scatter to create a scatter plot. Using is really easy. Just give it the data x and data y and the label for naming. And then after that, write plt.show and it show us our data. I give you a complete lesson about how to use PLT, but it's important to you can use it without knowing what it's come from. Okay, this is the end of this lesson. In the next lesson, we are going to train our model and see what happens. Don't forget to like and subscribe.